Most people spend their lives exhausted, not because they're doing too much, but because they're holding on too tightly. Holding on to what they can't control, holding on to opinions that don't matter, holding on to outcomes they can't guarantee, people they can't change, and pain they should have released long ago. But the Stoics saw things differently. They didn't just master philosophy, they mastered freedom, emotional freedom, mental freedom, the kind of strength that comes not from caring more, but from knowing when and how to care less. This episode is not about apathy. It's not about detachment for the sake of coldness. It's about wisdom, choosing where your energy goes, learning to live with clarity, not confusion, with purpose, not people-pleasing. Because when you stop clinging to what doesn't serve you, you start creating space for what does. These 7 Stoic principles are your guide to that clarity, to the art of letting go with grace and not being pulled by every wind, every word, or every wave that life throws at you. If you're ready to reclaim your peace, subscribe to Stoic Reflections, give this video a like, and drop a comment sharing which principle speaks to your current season of life. Let's begin. 1. Control what's within, release what's without. You're not drowning because of what's happening around you. You're drowning because of how tightly you're gripping things that were never yours to control. This is one of the deepest lessons in Stoicism. The more energy you spend trying to force outcomes, fix people, or micromanage every detail of life, the more you suffer. Because reality doesn't bend to your will, it moves on its own terms. Epictetus said it clearly, some things are up to us, and some things are not. Your peace depends on knowing the difference. When you obsess over results, over what someone else thinks of you, over how people respond, over what tomorrow might bring, you're living outside yourself. You're giving away your strength. But when you return to what you can control, your thoughts, your reactions, your choices, everything changes. That's where power lives. That's where freedom begins. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care wisely. It means you focus on the quality of your effort, not the unpredictability of the outcome. It means you show up with integrity and then release what's beyond your reach. You can't control how others behave, but you can control whether you let their behavior define your mood. You can't control the future, but you can control your preparation. You can't control the chaos, but you can control your composure in it. This is the shift from reactivity to response, from anxiety to awareness, from control to clarity. The Stoic doesn't waste energy wishing things were different. They channel energy into becoming stronger within the difference. That's why Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, stop and ask, is this mine to carry? If it's not, put it down. If it is, carry it with intention. Because the more you try to control what's outside of you, the more you lose control of what's inside of you. And the person who masters their inner world? That's the person who walks through life untouched by noise, by chaos, by the endless need to chase or fix or prove. This is the art of not caring where caring is wasted. It's not coldness, it's clarity. It's not indifference, it's discipline. And once you learn to release the uncontrollable, you don't just find peace, you protect it every single day. 2. Embrace the present moment. You cannot be calm while your mind is stuck in a place your body isn't. That's the root of so much anxiety. Not what's happening now, but what you're replaying from the past or fearing about the future. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't try to escape time. They trained themselves to return to it. To anchor themselves in the only place where clarity, choice, and peace actually exist. This moment. Because the past is untouchable, the future unknowable, but the present is yours. Marcus Aurelius wrote, confine yourself to the present. That wasn't about denial, it was about discipline. Because every time your mind drifts backward into regret or forward into worry, you abandon the power of right now. And right now is where action lives, where virtue lives, where calm can be created, not just hoped for. When you chase peace in the past or bargain for it in the future, you miss the only moment it can actually happen. You've probably noticed this. When you're fully present, even the simplest things feel rich. A deep breath, a meaningful sentence, a silent pause. But when your mind is fragmented, looping through old conversations, spiraling about what hasn't happened yet, even peace feels out of reach. That's because your attention is scattered, and where your attention goes, your energy follows. The Stoic trains their mind to come back, to observe what is, not what was or could be. Presence isn't just a feeling, it's a practice. It means slowing down when your thoughts start racing. It means noticing the tension in your body and choosing to relax it. It means listening without rehearsing your reply, breathing without rushing to the next thing, experiencing without narrating. It's simple, but not easy, because your mind will constantly try to pull you into time zones you can't live in, and each time you'll have a choice: get swept away or return. This is where Stoicism becomes more than philosophy. It becomes strategy. The more you practice being here, fully, intentionally, the more control you regain over your emotions, your decisions, your life. You stop reacting from old wounds. You stop fearing imagined futures. You become available to what's real, and what's real is always enough. So when you feel disconnected or restless, don't look outward. Don't start overthinking or overdoing. Just return, right here, right now. What's in front of you? What can you control? What's the next right action? That's Stoicism in motion. That's the calm beneath the chaos. And that's the art of not caring about what no longer exists or what doesn't yet matter, so you can actually live the life that does. 3. Accept change as nature's course. If there's one constant in life, it's that nothing stays the same. People evolve. Circumstances shift. What once felt solid becomes uncertain. What felt permanent fades. And yet, we resist. We hold on. We struggle against the inevitable, trying to freeze life in place. But Stoicism teaches us this resistance is the root of suffering. It's not the change itself that hurts. It's the refusal to accept that change is nature. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change the things which are and to make new things like them." In other words, change isn't the enemy, it's the rhythm of life. And the more we fight it, the more we exhaust ourselves trying to control what's meant to evolve. Think about it. How much pain in your life has come from clinging to what was, from refusing to let go of an old version of someone, of yourself, of a season that had already passed? The Stoic doesn't try to stop the river. They learn to flow with it. Because peace isn't found in locking things down. It's found in adapting with grace. Change strips away what's no longer aligned. It forces you to grow. It exposes illusions. It demands honesty. And while that can feel like loss, it's also the beginning of clarity. When you accept change as natural, you stop treating it as a personal punishment. You start seeing it as a universal process, one that you're not just subject to, but part of. Acceptance isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It means facing reality as it is, not as you wish it were. It means grieving what's gone without clinging to it. It means welcoming the unknown, not because it's comfortable, but because it's real. And real is always stronger than imagined control. This doesn't mean being passive. Stoicism isn't about sitting back and doing nothing. It's about engaging fully with what you can influence, while releasing attachment to what you can't. That includes outcomes, people, timing, even versions of yourself you've outgrown. When you let go of resistance, you reclaim your energy. And with that energy, you can respond, adapt, evolve. So the next time change comes, and it will, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What is this shaping in me?" Because every shift is a chance to become lighter, freer, wiser. And the Stoic knows, clinging is heavy. But acceptance is how you move with life instead of against it. That's not giving up. That's growing up. That's not detachment, it's alignment. And it's how you let go without losing yourself. 4. Detach from external validation. The more you chase approval, the more you forget who you are. And the more your identity depends on how others see you, the more fragile your peace becomes. This is one of the most powerful and most difficult realizations in Stoicism, that your worth isn't something others give you. It's something you live. The moment you let opinions, praise, or criticism decide your direction, you become a prisoner, smiling on the outside, but hollow on the inside. Marcus Aurelius said it bluntly, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." That contradiction destroys inner freedom, because when you start living for applause, you start shrinking your truth. You avoid disapproval, you bend your values, you say yes when you want to say no. You play roles instead of being real. And eventually you wake up wondering, who am I actually doing this for? Detachment from validation isn't arrogance. It's liberation. It doesn't mean you don't listen. It doesn't mean you stop learning. It means you filter feedback through the lens of virtue, not ego. Are you being corrected with wisdom or manipulated with guilt? Are you adjusting out of growth or just seeking to be liked? The Stoic listens, but they stay rooted. They absorb what aligns and they let go of what doesn't. When you're addicted to being liked, your peace is rented, owned by anyone with an opinion. But when you live by your values, your peace becomes permanent, because it's built on something no one can touch. And ironically, the more you release the need to be approved, the more deeply you connect with others. Not because you're performing, but because you're present, real, clear. This principle also applies to criticism. A Stoic doesn't crumble under harsh words. They evaluate them. If they reveal something true, they adjust. If they're empty projections, they move on. Why? Because the mind must remain sovereign. It must remain in your control. And that means refusing to give your emotions to every voice around you. You'll know you're growing when someone disapproves of you and you don't spiral, when someone praises you and you don't get high on it. When you're steady in your path, not cold, not careless, but centered. That's the art of not caring for performance, but for purpose. Not rejecting others, but no longer needing their applause to breathe. So detachment, not from connection, but from dependency, not from community, but from the belief that someone else holds your worth. Because you weren't born to be molded by opinion. You were born to live with clarity, with virtue, with strength that doesn't rise or fall with who's watching. That's what Stoicism trains you to build, a peace that comes from the inside and stays there. 5. Recognize life's natural cycles. Nothing lasts forever, not joy, not pain, not even the confusion you might feel in this very moment. Everything moves in cycles. Seasons shift, people change, emotions rise and fall like the tide. But the reason we often suffer more than necessary is because we try to cling to the good and resist the bad. We act like life should be a permanent summer, and when winter arrives, we panic. But the Stoics knew better. They saw clearly, all things are temporary and peace comes from moving with the rhythm, not against it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe how all things are continually being born from change." And that's the key. Change isn't the enemy. It's the process. Life is not static, and neither are you. When you understand that every high will eventually settle and every low will eventually rise, you stop reacting in extremes. You stop thinking this pain will last forever. You stop believing this success defines your worth. You begin to ride the wave, not drown in it. This mindset helps you build emotional resilience. Because if you're feeling lost right now, that's okay. It's part of the cycle. If you're feeling powerful, enjoy it. But don't become arrogant. Everything is in motion. And that's not a threat. That's a gift. It means your current struggle is not your permanent story. It means tomorrow can look radically different than today. And it means you don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep moving. The Stoics taught us not to be passive in the face of change, but to be prepared for it. That's where strength is born. Not in trying to stop the seasons, but in learning how to dress for the weather. If you expect every chapter to feel the same, you'll break under life's natural transitions. But if you expect rhythm, rise and fall, expansion and retreat, clarity and confusion, you gain balance. You stop overreacting. You start responding. Think of nature. Day becomes night. Winter becomes spring. There's no panic in that change. It's just the cycle doing what it's always done. You are part of that nature. Your life follows the same design. So stop judging yourself for the season you're in. Stop rushing to escape discomfort or grasping to extend joy. Experience it all with presence, with humility, with trust. Because when you accept the rhythm, you move in sync with reality. That's where real calm comes from, not from trying to control every phase of life, but from understanding how each phase teaches you. The highs show you possibility. The lows show you truth. The stillness shows you strength. And when you stop expecting permanence in a world built on motion, you begin to live lightly. Not because you care less, but because you've learned to carry life without gripping it. So recognize the cycles, trust the flow, respect the rise and the fall. Because everything changes, but the way you move through that change, that's your power, that's your peace, and that's the Stoics' path. 6. Seek growth in adversity. It's easy to feel centered when life is calm, when plans work out, when people treat you well, when everything seems to go according to script. But that's not where strength is built. The real training ground, the place where Stoicism proves its worth, is in adversity, in discomfort, in setbacks, pain, and pressure. Because life isn't asking if you want to grow, it's giving you the opportunity. And every challenge you face is not a punishment, it's a tool, a test, a mirror showing you what's real inside. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." You don't grow by avoiding hard things. You grow by facing them, with courage, with reason, with inner steadiness. That doesn't mean pretending you enjoy the pain. It means seeing through it, recognizing that every frustration is a lesson in patience. Every betrayal is a lesson in self-trust. Every failure is a doorway into deeper wisdom, if you're willing to step through it. The Stoic doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "How can I use this?" Because when you adopt that lens, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming a student of life. Adversity no longer shrinks you. It refines you. It teaches you who you are without the applause, without the comfort, without the easy route. And often that version of you, the one shaped in the storm, is the strongest you'll ever know. But this kind of growth isn't automatic. It requires awareness. It requires presence. You have to choose to extract meaning from your suffering, because otherwise pain just becomes more pain. But if you're willing to sit with it, to observe it, to question it, to understand what it's revealing, you unlock something powerful. You develop what the Stoics called fortitude, the ability to remain stable, clear, and purposeful no matter the pressure. This doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means not letting emotion run your life. It means feeling fully, but acting wisely. Letting grief be grief, anger be anger, but not becoming defined by them. Instead, you use them. You grow stronger through them. Because adversity is the fire that tempers your discipline, deepens your values, and shows you the gap between who you were and who you're capable of becoming. So the next time life gets hard, and it will, pause. Instead of resisting, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Where is the opportunity in this obstacle? The answer may not come quickly. It may not be obvious, but it's there. And the longer you stay in the process, the more clearly you'll see it. Because pain doesn't just hurt, it builds. It removes the unnecessary. It wakes up the sleeping parts of your strength. And in that way, adversity doesn't ruin you. It reveals you. That's not just a Stoic belief. That's a way of living, a path to freedom, and a mindset that transforms suffering into growth, chaos into clarity, and hardship into unmatched resilience. 7. Cultivate inner riches. The world will always try to convince you that value lives outside of you, that you need more money, more praise, more possessions, more followers, just more, to feel worthy. But the Stoics flipped that idea on its head. They taught that true wealth isn't measured by what you accumulate, but by what you can live without. Because what the world gives, it can also take away. But what you build within, that is untouchable. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." And in that one sentence, he gave us a roadmap to freedom. The fewer cravings you have for external things to complete you, the more grounded you become. The less you depend on status, applause, or comfort, the more unshakable your peace grows. That's not minimalism, it's mastery. Cultivating inner riches means investing in what can't be stolen. Discipline, integrity, gratitude, self-awareness. These aren't flashy, but they're eternal. While the world chases validation and vanity, the Stoic turns inward asking, who am I becoming? What kind of character am I shaping? Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you had, but how much of you was real, aligned, and free. Peace becomes your wealth when you stop letting the external world dictate your mood. Integrity becomes your currency when you choose right action over recognition. Gratitude becomes your safety net when things fall apart, because even then, you see what remains. That kind of wealth doesn't crash when markets fall. It doesn't shrink when people change. It doesn't fade with age or popularity or circumstance. But here's the hard part. Inner riches aren't instant. You don't go viral for humility. You don't get applause for patience. You won't trend for self-discipline. These things grow slowly, silently, and often they're tested more than they're praised. But that's what makes them powerful, because the more you build your inner world, the less you need from the outer one. The Stoic doesn't reject the material, they just refuse to be owned by it. They can enjoy success without being enslaved by it. They can face loss without being shattered by it, because what they value most lives inside, and it's been earned, not handed to them. So take time every day to build what no one can give you and no one can take away. Reflect, journal, pause, choose your words carefully, choose your actions wisely. Live not to impress, but to express your values. That's what leaves a lasting legacy, not a name in lights, but a soul that stayed grounded when the world shook. When you master this, you stop needing the world to recognize your worth because you already know it. That's real confidence. That's unbreakable calm. And that's the final step in the Stoic art of not caring about what doesn't matter, because you've built your peace where nothing can reach it. Letting go doesn't mean you've stopped caring. It means you've started caring wisely. It means you've stopped chasing things that drain you and started investing in what actually frees you. That's the essence of Stoicism, not apathy, but alignment. Not cold detachment, but disciplined clarity. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your energy, your approval, walking away from what you can't control isn't weakness, it's wisdom. When you learn to control what's within, to live in the present, to accept change, to detach from validation, to understand life's cycles, to grow through adversity, and to cultivate inner riches, you become untouchable in the ways that matter most. The storms still come, but they don't shake your foundation. People may judge you, but they can't define you. Life may twist and turn, but you remain rooted because your peace no longer depends on the uncontrollable. If this episode helped shift your mindset or reminded you of the power you already hold, take a moment to hit the like button, share your reflections in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed to Stoic Reflections. This journey isn't about becoming emotionless, it's about becoming anchored. Let go of what doesn't serve you and make room for what truly does. That's the path. That's the power. That's Stoicism.